to my channel. This is my first video that I am doing in a series of videos, and I have been inspired by the whole Marie Kondo hashtag KonMari method, and I have decided to organize my office, and I wanted to start off with my washi. So I love my washi. A lot of it is from Simply Gilded, and I also have other shops like Wonton in a Million and Frank Hearts Hue. And so I decided that I needed to go through and sort through all of my different washi, because as you can see right now, I have it organized in by different areas. So the washing container closest or to the right hand side is full of a certain shops, and then the three that I'm working on is all of the Simply Gilded. But instead of having the washi organized by, say, releases or, you know, animals, or I don't know how I organized it before, I've decided to color code it because it's just more aesthetically pleasing to me. So I am going through the first row, and I am going and putting all the pinks on the top row because I have the most pinks, and then I remove that container because that has a whole different shop. And then I'm going to go through and empty all the other rolls, and I decide to just dump it all out because I just have so much. And you'll see me going back and forth and rearranging because color coding is kind of difficult for me. I don't know why. It seems like a very simple and easy concept, but I tweak a lot of the colors just because I don't know where it should be placed and like the gradient of things. So the second row I do the brighter kind of pinks and reds, and then as you can see, the drawer that I just took out was all of my Simply Gilded sub box washi. And if you're unfamiliar with Simply Gilded, she does subscription services that are monthly. So I kept all of the subscription services together, and I still wanted to do that, but for the rows that you could see outwardly, I wanted to have it all kind of like a rainbow effect. So as you can see, I'm taking out these drawers and I'm just dumping them into containers. It was a very messy process. The whole, I mean, this took, it took a good while. I think with all the film time, without it being sped up, it was like 45 to an hour of sorting washi. So as you can see, I am going and doing the blues in the middle section. I do purples and blues on these this last row, and I have trouble with the blues and the purples because I just don't know. I also have florals in there, and so I couldn't decide if I wanted the florals to show or not. So you'll see, I'll go back and I'll actually put all the florals in the rows behind it. And then, as you can see in the far corner, I have a whole nother box of washi that I forgot that I had from a holiday pre-sale. So I had to go back and make room for all of the holiday washi that I hadn't even unpacked. I mean, that's how much washi I have. It's kind of ridiculous. And so I am moving things and rearranging things to make room for this pre-sale washi. As you can see, I had all of the florals showing, but then I eventually moved those to make room for all of the different pinks that I have. And so I start putting all the florals on top, and it's kind of easier for me to see. And then on the bottom row, you can see that there are different washis that ombre, and I decided to put that in a different row too because I had so many blues and like shades of blues and purples and like periwinkles and like grayish blues that it needed its own row. So I had to, I go back and I rearrange that second drawer in the middle. So then I dump out all of the sub box, and then I go into the blues over here, but then I realize again I'm not gonna have enough space. So then I move all those back, and I have to use that other drawer for green. And I realized this as I am looking at what I have left, and I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna work out. So I decided to move all of the washies. They're actually on a shelf that you can't see, and so I'm moving all of the bows into these containers when they used to be sitting on a shelf. But I wasn't using the washi when they were on the shelf because it wasn't easy for me to just grab and go. So I was like, okay, this isn't functional. I need to actually use this stuff. So whenever you see me kind of disappear, it's because I'm grabbing more washi off this shelf. I'm just like swimming in washi. I hope if you're watching this, you're either can understand or am totally judging me because you're like, what the heck does this girl need with so much washi? But it sparks joy, so you know, what am I gonna do? Marie Kondo says I can have it if it sparks joy. So judge away. But yeah, I start to put piles on the top of the different ways that I want to sort it. So I gather all the blues and the mints, and I realize like, okay, this needs to go in here first, and I had taken out all those ombres. And so now I put all the pastel blues and minty colors in that drawer instead. And I really love the way that it turns out. It's really, really pretty. So it's also, I had to decide if I wanted to keep all the different sizes together or not, because I don't know if you can see, but each washi has different sizes, and so I just took out one of the baby washis to make room for the mid-size washis. So all the baby washis get its own little cupboard slot, which I will end this video with kind of a walkthrough of the finished product, because I realized that you can't really see everything from this angle that I filmed at. But as you can see, I am also taking out doubles. That's like another planner girl problem that I have, is that I bought doubles of everything, and I take those doubles out to make room, and I eventually de-stash because I need to only have what I have room for. And so yeah, so now I am going through and putting kind of the same color palette that are bows behind the matching color palette. Does that make any sense at all? So I have purples, and then if they are florally purple or ombre-y purple, I put it behind the solids, and that kind of makes sense in my head, even though that may not make sense to someone else. But in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, if I want that color family or that color palette, that's where it will be behind it. And then for the last row, I wanted to do all of the dark neutral colors. So all of the blacks, because there are lots of different variations of black. Irene has black with gold, black with rose gold, black with hollow, that plaid black with white checkered. So I put all of those behind my dark purples because, again, in my head, the color gradient, it just makes sense to me to put those dark colors behind there. And I eventually take out the doubles of those plaids. I might not do it on film here, but I think I do to make room for other washis eventually. Because after I do all of these, then I kind of like filter it. Oh my gosh, I need lotion on my hands. They're so ashy. Excuse my ashy hands. So next up, I go through and I put all the neutrals because I didn't want to put the neutrals behind my pinks, because I can fill an entire 3 rows of like pinks on the top, and I also wanted to keep all the tiny baby ones on the very top row. So I put all of my neutrals behind this middle drawer with all of the brighter pinky colors. And then I also have our shop collab washi in there, and those are kind of being used as placeholders because I can imagine me getting more of this color family, and then I can take out our collab washi and then put it there. So I am putting all of the, I think these are the neutral, I forget what it's called, but it's like a dusty rose, gray, cocoa type color. And then, let's see, what do I do next? Oh, the top row. So the top row is where I put all the florals. I put all my florals up top because I am obsessed with the florals. I love all of the florals, and I buy multiple of the florals, and I will not destash those because I go through those a lot because I use the washi not only for spreads but for like washi dashboards and things like that. So I also put the rainbow ombres up top too that are kind of softer colored and like sorbet-y looking. And then I think about putting the cotton candy there, but I know I end up moving that because that back row is going to be used for all the tiny baby washi. And I also don't know what I want to do with those unicorn ones because they have a bow. So again, I just kind of get things out of the way, and then I go back and I tweak and refine the placement of everything. So right now my thought process is just like getting the top cleared off. So now we're in that second container, and I put all of the different blues behind it, and these are the blues that may have patterned or ombre or just don't fit in that front row and that aren't solid. And then again, I'm just trying to clear it off, so I have all of the same kind of color family behind those warm reds and autumny colors. And I cannot believe I have so much washi. I'm like watching this and it is kind of ridiculous. And it's kind of ridiculous that I made an entire video on me organizing it. Like, I don't know who's gonna watch this. So if you're watching this, thank you. And I am glad that we share the same affection for washi because this is very specific. So let's see, what am I putting back there? Do I move that? I feel like I moved that. Those are all the greens and like dark toned greens. I feel like, oh, I know why I put that there because I save the other rows for sub box washi. And I think I put all the polka dots in that middle row. So all of the polka dots that I have are there. All of the grays and the blues are in the back. And then I put plaids together. So all of those are different plaids from different releases. Now moving on to this one. This one I think I go back and I clear out these because I put all of the sub box washis in all of those. And at this point I think I am just tweaking. And I am gonna go ahead and switch over and show you guys the finished kind of walkthrough of what I did. Okay, so I wanted to show you what the final, I guess, decision I made with all the different drawers. So as you can see on this top row, I have all of the skinnies, and then I have in the middle row pink florals and kind of soft pastel watercolor sorbet, and then my row of pink. If I'm missing one, it's probably because I used it to take a picture. And then I have my peaches and our collab washi and like the darker pinks in this row, and then it is more neutrals in the back. I have some placeholders, and then all of the whites are in the back row. On the bottom I have the purples, and I guess maybe I should put this purple over here now that I'm looking at it. And then back here I have florals and ombres that have hints of purple and teal, and then I have these two owls because they have hints of purple, and then I have all of my blacks and black plaids and darker miscellaneous. I had all of my non-bows elsewhere, but I'm trying to only keep 3 drawers worth So if I keep buying, I have to get rid of it because I can't. I'll be drowning in washi. So next, this is the drawer next to it. So I have the pinks going across still. And then I have all of my, I guess, kind of like favorite pinks that I'll use. This is like one of my favorite rolls. And yeah, in the back I have all of the kind of, I forget what size this is. This is called 10 mil? I don't know. They're like not the baby skinny ones and not the like big ones. So I have all of the constellation and starry ones and from some of the galaxy collections, and then I have all of the confettis. I love the confettis. I think they're the perfect accent to contrast whenever you're using one of the bigger rolls. And then I have all of my reds, and I guess these are burgundies, and then behind here I have patterns. So I have polka dots and plaids, and then back here are kind of like the deeper colors that I don't really want showing because I have a lot of the pastels showing. So these are like the darker grays and purples and greens. And then down here I have all of my blues. So I have the solid blues in the front, and then I have more patterned blues behind. And then in the back I have like miscellaneous ones that I didn't want to show. So I have the coffee ones, these gummy bears, and then these Halloween ones. And I have some of the blues from like the winter, and then the clouds. And lastly, I have the rest of my like pink, and these are all collabs. This is so cute, this bunny one. And then up here I have all of my florals that aren't bows that I love. I love florals in general. So I have these at the top so I can get them easily, and then the butterfly ones and foxes. And so this is sort of like animals. And then I have these, I destashed a lot of these. These are sort of like just color schemes. So I kept the ones that I knew I would use the most. And then down here I have the oranges and yellows, which I don't have much of. I would normally put this with the plaids, but I love buffalo plaid and I enjoy looking at it, so I have it in the front. And then I go into the sub box washi that is from Simply Gilded's sub boxes. I've been subscribed since she opened, and I have a lot. So on this last one I have all of my greens and teals and mint, and they continue onto the second row. And some of these are the greens from some collabs she did with other companies, and then it goes on to more of the sub box washi, and then all of the kind of like constellation and starry ones back here. And these are all the stardust. I love the stardust ones. I'm super excited to add the rainbow one to this one. So I'm pretty much at capacity with these three. I know I want to try to keep it to these three, but it's gonna be hard because I really enjoy washi and looking at it. But yeah, that is my D-Stash Marie Kondo SPARKJOY washi collection. I don't know what you want to call this, but this is the finished product. I really loved doing this. It was super fun, and stay tuned for more videos like this.